All right, so let's dive into something kind of remarkable that happened recently.
Okay.
You know how divided things are in American politics these days, right?
Yeah.
Well, imagine like a scene where every living president, basically from different parties, different eras,
Oh,
all under one roof.
huh.
It happened at Jimmy Carter's funeral.
Okay.
And we're going to unpack what made this gathering so significant.
That's fascinating, isn't it? You had presidents spanning decades, each representing like a distinct chapter in American history.
Yeah,
To see them all come together to honor Carter really makes you think about what kind of figure can bridge those divides.
exactly. It wasn't just a formality. You could feel the weight of the moment.
Right.
Everyone was there except for Michelle Obama, who
Oh.
had a scheduling conflict.
Okay.
But the turnout speaks volumes about the respect Carter commanded.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the eulogies.
Okay.
Biden's in particular struck me as incredibly powerful. He kept hammering home this word character.
It wasn't just repetition, it felt deliberate, almost like Biden was making a statement about the kind of leadership he believes in and maybe hinting at what he feels might be missing today.
Yeah.
By emphasizing Carter's character, Biden highlighted a man who prioritized integrity and moral conviction above political expediency.
You're right. It wasn't just about praising Carter. It felt like a subtle commentary on the current state of politics.
Right.
And that quote from Biden about giving hate no safe harbor and standing up to the abuse of power,
Mm-hmm.
that really resonated with me.
Absolutely, and I think it gets to the core of what made Carter such a unique figure. He was a president who truly lived by his principles even when it wasn't politically popular.
Yeah.
That quote encapsulates his commitment to human rights and social justice,
Right.
which he championed both during his presidency and long after leaving office.
And then you had these fascinating interactions between some of the former presidents. Did you see that moment between Trump and Obama?
Oh, yeah.
They were having an animated conversation, and Obama was even laughing at times.
Huh.
What did you make of that?
Given their history and the current political climate, it was definitely unexpected.
Right.
It's hard to say for sure what was said,
Yeah.
but it does make you wonder about the dynamics at play behind the scenes. Was it genuine camaraderie or simply a display of decorum for the occasion?
I'm leaning towards a bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a basic level of respect that comes with holding that office, but maybe this also points to a sliver of hope that even in our polarized world, there's still room for human connection.
That's an interesting thought. And let's not forget the significance of Trump and Pence being seen together for the first time in 4 years.
Right.
Their relationship has been the subject of much speculation since January 6th. So seeing them in the same space, even at a somber event like this, was noteworthy.
Definitely. It adds another layer of intrigue to this already historic gathering.
Yeah.
It makes you realize that even a funeral can be a stage for political theater, whether intentional or not.
That's the thing about these kinds of events. They're never just about mourning. They become lenses through which we view history, politics, and the relationships between these larger-than-life figures. Speaking of which, let's talk about some of the other eulogies.
Yeah.
Stephen Ford, President Gerald Ford's son, shared a really touching story about how his father and Carter actually bonded on a flight to Anwar el-Sadat's funeral.
Of all places, you have to admit there's a certain irony there.
Yeah.
But it speaks to Carter's ability to connect with people from all walks of life,
Right.
even former political rivals. And that quote from Ford's eulogy,
Mm-hmm.
honesty and truth-telling were synonymous with the name Jimmy Carter.
Right.
That really sums up the image Carter cultivated.
It does, doesn't it? It goes back to that idea of character that Biden emphasized. Carter wasn't a flashy politician. He was seen as a man of integrity and principle, and that resonated with people.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I found particularly interesting was Stuart Eisenstadt's eulogy.
Okay.
He was one of Carter's advisors, and he seemed to be pushing back against this perception of Carter as a failed one-term president.
Mm-hmm.
He even called him among the most consequential one-term presidents. Do you think that's a fair assessment?
It's a bold statement, for sure.
Yeah.
It makes you think about how we judge presidential legacies.
Yeah.
Is it purely about accomplishments in office? Or do we consider the broader impact of their life and work?
Right.
It's a question worth exploring, especially in Carter's case.
It's a complex question, and I think in Carter's case, you have to look at his post-presidency work to truly understand his impact.
Right. He didn't just fade into the background. He became a global advocate for peace, human rights, and democracy.
It really is, and it speaks to his unwavering belief in the power of diplomacy and his commitment to making a tangible difference in the world.
Yeah.
He didn't shy away from tough issues or controversial stances.
Yeah.
Remember his work with Habitat for Humanity. He wasn't just lending his name to a cause.
Right.
He was out there hammer in hand building houses alongside volunteers.
That image of Carter building homes for those in need is incredibly powerful. It challenges our preconceived notions of what leadership looks like. It's not always about wielding power in a traditional sense. It can be about rolling up your sleeves and leading by example.
Exactly. And that message resonates far beyond the realm of politics. It's relevant to all of us, no matter our background or profession.
Yeah.
What stands out to you about Carter's legacy? What aspects of his life or work do you find particularly inspiring or thought-provoking?
You know, what strikes me as his unwavering commitment to peace. He was a true champion of diplomacy, even in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges.
Right.
Brokering the Camp David Accords between Israel and Egypt that was monumental.
Yeah.
And he never stopped working to advance human rights and democracy around the world.
He truly believed in the power of dialogue and understanding to overcome conflict. And that commitment is reflected in the work of the Carter Center, which continues to address some of the world's most pressing challenges.
It really makes you think about the possibilities of what one person driven by a clear vision and an unwavering sense of purpose can achieve.
And it challenges us to think about how we can each contribute to building a more just and peaceful world.
Right.
It's not about waiting for someone else to solve the world's problems. It's about recognizing that we each have a role to play, however big or small.
Speaking of lessons, one thing I keep coming back to is that quote from Jason Carter about his grandparents never forgetting who they were and where they came from.
It's a reminder of the importance of staying grounded, remembering our roots, and not letting success or power go to our heads.
And it's a lesson that's particularly relevant for those in positions of leadership.
Absolutely. True leadership isn't about ego or self-aggrandizement. It's about service, humility, and a deep commitment to the common good.
And that brings us back to that question we posed earlier. What can we learn from Carter's life and legacy about the qualities of true leadership and a life well lived?
It's a question worth pondering, and I think each of us will likely answer it in our own unique way. But I think it's safe to say that Carter's life offers a powerful testament to the transformative power of integrity, compassion, and a deep commitment to service.
And those are qualities we can all aspire to embody, both in our personal lives and in our roles as citizens of the world.
Exactly. And it's a reminder that even amidst the complexities and challenges of our time, there is always hope, always the possibility of making a difference, and always the potential for good to prevail.
We talked about Eisenstadt pushing back on that one-term president label. But even Ted Montmell, whose father Walter was Carter's vice president, seemed to be trying to shape the narrative a bit.
Oh, how so?
Well, he was delivering his eulogy reading from a prepared text. But there was this one line he reportedly omitted. It was a comparison between how Carter handled Vietnamese refugees and the current immigration situation.
That is interesting. Why do you think he chose to leave that out?
It's tough to say for sure, but maybe he felt it was inappropriate to inject contemporary political debates into a eulogy honoring Carter.
Right.
Or maybe he was trying to avoid direct comparisons that could be seen as critical of the current administration, especially with Trump in absence.
It's a subtle move, but it highlights how even these moments of remembrance can become entangled with present-day politics. You can't fully escape it.
Absolutely. Every word, every gesture is scrutinized and analyzed for potential meaning.
Yeah.
But amidst all the political maneuvering, there were still those genuine, heartfelt moments.
Right.
Like Jason Carter talking about his grandparents. Small-town people who never forgot who they were and where they came from, no matter what happened in their lives.
That really resonated with me. It speaks to Carter's humility and groundedness despite achieving the highest office in the land.
And Joshua Carter's reflections on his grandfather's dedication to helping others were incredibly moving. He talked about Carter's work with Habitat for Humanity and his efforts to eliminate diseases in what he called forgotten places.
It's clear that Carter's family wanted to emphasize his human side, his unwavering commitment to his values, and his dedication to making the world a better place.
And those themes seemed to resonate throughout the entire service. It wasn't just about mourning the loss of a former president. It was about celebrating a life well lived, a life defined by integrity, compassion, and a deep commitment to service.
And that's a legacy that extends far beyond the confines of politics. It's a message that speaks to the human spirit, to our capacity for good, and to the power of one person to make a difference.
It really is remarkable how Carter's story continues to inspire and challenge us. It's a reminder that true leadership isn't confined to positions of power or historical textbooks.
It's a living legacy that continues to unfold through the countless lives he touched and the causes he championed. And it's a legacy that we can all contribute to in our own unique ways.
As we wrap up this deep dive into Jimmy Carter's life and legacy, I want to leave you with this thought. Take some time to learn more about his post-presidency work.
You'll be amazed by the breadth and depth of his impact.
Yeah.
From eradicating diseases to building homes to promoting peace in some of the most volatile regions of the world, it's truly remarkable.
It really is. It's a testament to the power of one person to make a difference.
Yeah.
And it's a call to action for all of us to find our own ways to serve, to lead,
Right.
and to leave this world a little better than we found it.
And who knows, maybe, just maybe, by following Carter's example, we can each help to create a world where peace, justice, and compassion truly prevail.
It's a world worth striving for, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And it's a world that's within our reach if we dare to dream big, to act boldly, and to never give up on the pursuit of a better tomorrow.
Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the extraordinary life and enduring legacy of Jimmy Carter. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.